Welcome, welcome. I'm Joanna Rochester, and this is Real Talk Soul Alchemy. I'm joined today by Hema Bias, and she will introduce herself in a minute, but we are here with Real Talk Soul Alchemy and part of Speak Up and Empower's online community of people that are heart-centered and focused on creating a world that they envision for themselves, experts that want to be heard, and those that are searching for more, the tools that they need to have more in their lives. It's once again an online community. We provide experts with all the tools that they need to increase their visibility, and the rest of the community for access to those experts and more information. So Real Talk Soul Alchemy is, we talk about alchemy is the art and the practice of transformation. And so as a soul alchemist, I help people transform from where they are presently stuck, blocked, dealing with traumas into who they are truly meant to be. So welcome, thanks for joining us. And we've got an amazing guest today who was also very much into alchemy, but I'll let her tell her story. So welcome, Hema.
Thank you. So I'm a psychologist, a mentor, a keynote speaker. I've been working with hard alchemy for almost 30 years now.
Wow.
It's something that was very close to my heart. My name, Hema, in Indian actually means golden. And, alchemy is the process of transforming the negative qualities into gold. And so, it felt like it was destined to be.
Beautiful. So, wow, you wear a lot of hats there. I think it's interesting because we both do wear a lot of the same hats. I'm an international speaker, also an author, and it begs the question, right? That, each one of these pieces that we bring to the table over time helps teach us more about who we are and helps us teach other people. Sorry about that. And so it's coming to that realization that all these pieces have come together to and allowed us to transform. So tell us a bit more about your journey.
So it's been an interesting one. So I was born in Africa, grew up in India, and moved to London when I was very little.
Wow.
So already there was, huge amounts of transformation in my life, just, adjusting to different cultures, different languages, and just different ways of being. But, from a very young age, I have had a very intuitive, empathic nature, which I'm sure a lot of your listeners do as well. Empaths is a word that, more and more people are recognizing it's part of who they are. But I sort of, from a young age, I just had a sixth sense about people, and I knew that I was meant to do something with it. And so when I discovered psychology, I was like, oh, this is it. This is my calling. And then soon discovered that it was, really bogged down with a lot of science and, facts and figures that didn't fit in with my spiritual stance at all. So I went on a bit of a journey, sort of being academic, being an occupational psychologist for a while, to finally come back to what I really love, which is, helping people, really being able to, what I call, listening to their heart, hearing what they're not hearing, and being able to help them transform what is unspoken into something that has a voice, something that allows them to go out into the world and to live a life that is golden.
That's such a beautiful thing, because you word it in a way, but we're doing the same thing, coming at it with slightly different resonance, right? It's amazing, but I guess it's so prevalent, especially what's going on in the world today, right? That so many people are taking stock, whether they are coming to it from a self-awareness perspective or just being forced on them to say, hey, what's really going on in my life? Because with my journey was I spent 20 years in the corporate banking world. And that world, I was not aware of being an empath or anything like that, right? And it wasn't until I became quite sick and had to do something about it that it started me on a journey of becoming aware of what I was capable of. And I think that happens for a lot of people. Just depends at what point in your life, because we are all born with gifts, it's so often that we suppress them or ignore them, or we don't know what to do with them, like your intuition, right? When you realized how intuitive you were.
Yeah.
So how does intuition present itself to you?
So, as a young child, and sort of, through a lot of my career as a therapist, for sure, I would say that it was more just really, I could be in a room full of, crowded room, and I would just feel in resonance with somebody who was struggling with something, somebody who was perhaps on the edge of a breakthrough, but were in what they would, be the sort of dark space, where they felt like there was no point, or life was really difficult. I could just sense it, feel it, and was able to, gravitate towards them and help them through that. So the intuition came in the form of a pull, attraction to certain people, and then later on in life it became where people were attracted to me. So they were drawn to me when there was clearly stuff going on, and I was able to not only feel what was in their hearts, what their truth was, what their real power was, and also what was blocking them. So we all have things, our experiences, and how we have metabolized or not metabolized them becomes the sort of foundation of things that stop us or accelerate us on our path.
Mm-hmm.
And intuition was really about being able to see the truth of what was really going on for people, and being able to have the courage to name it, even though, at the beginning I didn't always realize, but that people would be like really shocked that I was so kind of, vocal and so honest, because they wanted to be, cotton-wooled and, talking in a soft, gentle way. And because I am soft and gentle, it came as a real punch. But, my intention was always just to help them grow and to really, really come back into love.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it comes back to, even with the client today that had some issues. It was like, how do I deal with this? Like, just come back to that love for self, love for this other person, right? Just keep building on that love. So there was a whole bunch of things that you said in there. The intuition is such a big role. And it's funny because when I speak about teaching leaders and those like in CEOs and that, how to recognize and develop their intuition. And it's funny, I've come back after presentations and people always want to share their intuitive stories, but I've had, many people say, well, I don't really believe in intuition, but I trust my gut. It's like, all right, so I need to work on my keynote because you didn't get it. But it is such an experience, right? But there's also that tool. So when you are connecting with your clients, a couple things. First, one question: how do you teach them to develop their intuition? And second, are they open to it, or how do you present it to them? Because sometimes people can go, that's too much for me to think about, intuition and, the non-logical, that's not something that I'm comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So I guess two questions there.
Yeah. So, I think, Joanna, it's about meeting people where they're at. And I think when you're doing a talk, in front of like a conference or something, when you're in front of a large audience, I think you have to go with what's right for you. But I think you're meeting people, like working with, CEOs to spiritual people, for example, it's a different language. And again, it's about tuning into who they are, who the audience is, and where they're going to be. And so it's all about, it's just language, so it's how you use. So you talk about, tuning into, like listening to your gut, really listening to that inner voice or whatever it might be. You don't have to call it something that's going to not resonate with somebody. And I think that's what I tend to do. I've been told that I can speak to both the sages and the suits. I really like that phrase. It was the lady who hired me for the keynote speech in Dublin, and when she wrote that, I thought, I really love that, because it's about being able to be flexible according to who the person is. And if your intention is to simply get through to them, the magnificence of who they really are, then you will find the right words that resonate with the person who's ready to hear whatever it is.
Well, and I think that's such a big thing, right? Because not everyone's ready to hear it. And especially when you're speaking to large groups, right? There's
Yeah.
always going to be people in the crowd that are like, don't get it, aren't ready to hear that. And that's perfectly okay, right? Like I'm always okay with that, right? That, well, if you ever have any questions, come back to me afterwards. But I love, yeah, that expression really is great because it is nice to be able to present in such a way. So how do you suggest to people that they start to develop or recognize their intuition?
I think the first thing is recognizing that from my perspective, I don't see it as a gift. I think that, I see intuition as something that is within all of us. And for me, intuition is a balance between the brain and the heart brain and the gut brain. So if all part of us are aligned, then I think that intuition becomes a natural outcome. So it's something that, we've suppressed or repressed or denied. And when we recognize it's within all of us, it's no longer magic. It just is a beautiful part of us that we haven't fully owned. So that's one of the first things. But the second thing I think about, really learning to get in touch with your intuition is learning to journal, for example, getting honest with yourself or getting somebody to be really honest with you. Because when you're able to own your truth, you clear up so much space.
Right.
And intuition is a byproduct. When you have space, intuition, it's that sixth sense which we all have. And the only thing that's stopping us is either because we don't trust it, we don't listen to that inner voice, or because we've got so much stuff that's blocked us, so much social conditioning, or so much trauma, or, anything that's stopping us, blocking us. And so I help people understand the work they have to do. And each person has an individual journey to get there. But
Beautiful. Thank you.
Sorry.
So I should clarify, I don't believe that intuition is a gift either. I believe it's in all of us. I think we have other gifts, right? Yeah. To be an empath or to be a seer or whatever. But I agree definitely with you, right? We suppress it. We don't know what to do with it. Or we are uncomfortable with it. Who was it that, was it Einstein? Einstein said that the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is its faithful servant. And we live in a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. And so if you look back at Einstein saying, right, that, and, there's many other quotes about intuition, but I love it that Einstein said that.
Amazing quotes.
Yeah. Well, of course he's a genius. So he's got lots to share, had lots to share with us. So intuition is such a beautiful thing because it can really transform our life, right? When we allow it, when we trust it, right? When I came through, a relationship in the past, and it was a question like, how can I ever trust people again? And I came to realize that I didn't have to trust them. I just had to trust me. And like my intuition, it showed me what was going on. But, my self-confidence, didn't know what to do with it. All those things prevented me from going, pay attention here. So I think that's one of the biggest pieces that I would encourage people, right, to develop their intuition, to play with it and to understand more about it. And to allow, right? But it is, right, as you said, uncover those blocks that are preventing you from trusting and allowing. What else do you teach your clients?
So really it's about, coming back to the truth and understanding that, we all live in the same world. How we experience it is hugely dependent on the extent to which we are contracted or we are expansive.
Right.
And contraction is, all the negative qualities. Contraction is fear. And so, if we want to make better decisions, if we want to live a better life, be more prosperous, have healthier relationships, then I think that we have to learn how to create space in our hearts, in our bodies, in our minds, and how to become more expansive in our thinking. And, part of what blocks our thinking is, the contraction, which is, years and years of ancestral and energetic conditioning, that we almost, by a certain age, we've almost all become quite robotic in some ways,
Yes.
unless we're really working on ourselves. And there's such a stigma attached to working on yourselves for so long. I mean, I know the tides are turning, but for so long, the idea of going to a therapist, or the idea of getting help, or the idea of hard or heart-based living, was such a negative thing. It was like, oh, that's fluff, that's not important. We're now realizing these are so important, and it's important in business. It's important in all our relationships. It's important in our social impact that we have, as well as our well-being.
Yes.
So I teach people about, the 5 pillars of life, which is health, wealth, love, passion, and purpose. And we need all 5, and we need them to be in balance. And the best way to bring it into balance is to come back to the heart, to come back to truth, to clear away anything that the heart throws up for us, because anything we experience as negative is simply there to shine a light on what hasn't healed.
Yeah.
Any judgment, anything negative, it's just what needs to heal within us.
And I think that's what's so often so challenging for people, right? Is that, all the negativity that they're experiencing in this day-to-day life, right? But but that's it is, it's so true what you said, that it's an opportunity to heal, right? Take a look at what's going on. If you feel really negative or angered or whatever, strong emotions, like it's being presented to you, not to, make your life awful or challenging. Well, challenging perhaps, but but to say, hey, look at what's going on, and we want to show you something. There's something else that needs to be observed here. And I think one of the biggest things that I've learned with what's going on in the world right now is that so many of my clients, when they're really feeling anxious, they are being triggered back to their childhood, right? Into an inner child that had no control, or didn't feel that they deserved, or whatever, applies with each person. So how is that? Does that resonate with you?
Oh, completely. And I think there's a reason for it, because I think, childhood is where we're not blank canvases, because we all come in with personality. But as children, we're very open, we're very flexible with our minds, our thinking, our feeling, our being. And I think that, depending on the way we're brought up in the culture and society, we don't need to blame any one person. It's just how life is. All of that sort of, gets put into a box. And I think it's great that people are being triggered, because, it's time to go back to those childhood parts where, you develop these lifelong beliefs that no longer serve you. And you can, use the being triggered to go back to something and do some of the work. Then I think now more than ever, the energies are amplified, and people are getting through things quicker if they're willing to do, the inner work.
Right. And that, I think one of the things to share is that when you are triggered and you go back, then you're responding the way that child did, as opposed to the way an adult did. So, if you've ever, blown up at anything and gone afterwards, went like, what was that? It's because you're acting the way the child did. And that child never learned anything different, never learned how to respond. So we can provide them with the tools to awareness, and then how to allow that child to respond, and to be, depending upon, like, reincorporated, to be allowed back. And so it doesn't have to take up that space, stuck at that place. So it's how do is we don't have, we only got 10 more minutes, so we don't have a lot of time. But so what are a couple of things that you do to help someone reintegrate that inner child, or to develop that inner child, so it's not a trigger anymore?
So, there are lots and lots of processes and so many tools, and we're very fortunate. We live in a time where there's so many tools, but, it's a combination. Again, you meet the person where they're at. So there's, I'm able to do hands-off and distant healing. I do a beautiful process called heart alignment, and it's basically because our hearts are connected to everybody else. All of our hearts are connected, and they're connected to living organisms. They're connected to all of nature, but they're also connected to Mother Earth.
Right.
And over centuries, we've lost that connection. We become industrialized, we live in, concrete jungles and all sorts. So we've disconnected, and I think it's really important to come back to that. So the heart realignment allows, a kind of energetic recalibration, realignment to their own heart energy as well as the earth's energies.
Beautiful.
But also, things like doing journeys, hypnosis, meditation, beautiful journeys to reacquaint them to the child from an adult perspective. And also, chakra healing. There's, writing something I talk about a lot because it connects you directly to the heart. And because I'm all about really healing the heart, and everything else follows. So when we write, we're able to connect directly to the heart and know things that we don't even know we know sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are the sort of some of the ways. But for somebody who might be sort of going, well, how do I do this right now? If I'm not going to speak to you, how can I do it? Then the one bit of advice I would give is, either write or speak it out. Because when we say it, rather than letting it go around in our heads where it stays stuck, when we express it somehow, we release it. Or
Beautiful.
into.
Very nicely said. And just so a blatant promotion, I've got my book, The Magnificence of Magenta, Rediscovering the Color of Your Soul. And in that, I talk about the chakras and Reiki, because there are so many beautiful natural therapies that can help. And you don't have to go to, someone like yourself or myself, but obviously, we can guide you and take you to that deeper level quickly. But, there are great books out there that can guide you through processes to help you in this moment right now. And I think that, there's another point there, right? Even though we both kind of do the same thing, right? Both coming from the same thought process, we both will always do things a little bit different, right? And it depends. Like I would say for me, I say that spirit guides me as to what the client in that moment needs. And I'm sure it's the same way for you, no matter, whatever terminology you use, but it is always what the client needs. And then, that's where, like, you have people that resonate with you. I have people that resonate with me. And so, but there's always, like, there's no need for competition or anything like that, right? So that's another challenging too. But so tell us more, so that people, if they want to find out more about you or would like to connect with you, but and what your services, like what you offer to people.
Thank you. So I do the heart realignment, and so anybody who's listening, if they want to say that they heard me on Speak Up and Empower, I'm happy to give them a discount. So I have a website, which is hemabias.com. And so if they want to go through that and just put something in the message to say that, they heard me on here, then I'm happy to give them the discount. But I have I teach courses. So I teach the course, one of the courses that I teach is about the cosmic secrets to the universe, really understanding how the cosmos works, how the universe works, and our place and our part in it, and how we can get the most out of it. So it's about the 5 pillars: health, wealth, love, passion, and purpose. And I cover each topic and give them yoga exercises, meditation, and the philosophy and teaching. So that's one of the things. I also do mentoring. So I do one-to-one mentoring if people wanted to go deeper just personally. And I'm also a speaker. So if anybody was interested in having me come along and speak at a conference, because now it's all virtual. I'm in the UK, but it's all virtual now. So yeah.
Beautiful. So the course that you're offering, is that on, it's online, but is it an 8-week course, or how long a course is it?
So no, it's a sort of 6-week course, but starts on the 21st of October, I believe, 6-week course, and then you add on a couple of extras. So it covers the first 3 pillars. We're going to be covering, love, and we're going to be covering wealth, and we're going to be covering purpose and passion together.
Okay.
And then I'm also teaching a meditation course, which is the art of fantasy, learning to use the art of fantasy to manifest your dreams, your desires.
Oh, beautiful. I like that, because so often it's mindset or whatever, right? But the art of fantasy, that's beautiful. So yeah, because I'm actually just in the process right now. I've got a workshop on called Transform Your Life, and it's teaching people all about energy, right? Energy and intuition, and just for those that are just starting to be exposed to it, to understand it more. And it's funny because each night we've only done 2 nights. We just did our second one last night. Like, I learn more, right? Because everyone gets to share at the end about their experiences and everything like that. So you know yourself, right? When you're helping other people to heal, you always heal yourself and learn more. So it's such a beautiful experience. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with us before we close off?
No, it was lovely talking to you though today. Thank you. And it's because we're so aligned. We've got so many things in common, but it's nice seeing it that, we're in different parts of the world. We might come at it from different angles, but we come to the same place, which is really about the transformation, the alchemy of people and where they're at to where they want to be. So
right. It's I'm so happy to have you, because once again, it's like, we're both doing the same work, right? But it's that act of service, right? We want to help other people. We've learned and been through enough ourselves that now it's like, okay, I want to share with you. I want you to have, right, that abundance, that joy, that happiness of the 5 pillars. So thank you very much. So thank you very much, Hema. So if anyone's interested, we can both be found at Speak Up and Empower. We are both experts in that platform, which is an online membership-based platform, a community that brings together the experts and those that want to find out more. We are actually about to enter in another month or so in membership drive. So if you're looking for more, reach out, and either one of us can help you. We are found on Facebook at Speak Up and Empower. Haven't you have your own Real Talk at this point in time?
I don't know. I'm a new member, so I'm still getting used to the platform, but hopefully we'll set that up very soon.
Okay, well, reach out whenever you're ready and we'll get that going. But so you can find Hema soon, but she obviously on her website, you can find out more. Obviously, she has so much to offer and so much to help you transform your life. So this was Joanna Rochester again, Speak Up and Empower, having conversations that will help you change your life. So have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.